Obviously, we knew that was, going to be a challenge coming into the game. I thought it was what we needed. I still think even afterwards it was. Obviously, it's disappointing when you got a 10-point lead with 3 minutes to go, but we needed challenged, and we have great respect for them. I knew I've known Pat for a while. I know how good they are offensively, and I knew even from watching them the other night when the point guard didn't play, and watching them play at Florida State, I was really impressed with their team. I saw them, the Manhattan game where they beat them by double figures during the tip-off marathon, and I just think they're really, really good. I think the point guard's terrific. That's as good an individual performance, certainly maybe top 5 I've ever been around. Certainly in here in my 5 years by an individual player, he was terrific. And then Cooks is a tough matchup. We knew that going in. I mentioned yesterday to you guys that he reminded me a little bit of Joe Kim Noah, and kid Joel Cornett that I had coached at Butler had a similar game as well as him. And then they're old, and they can shoot the ball, and they make threes, and so it was good for us. We needed that challenge. Now we'll see how we respond going into Thursday. At the end of the day, obviously I'm singing their kudos, and they're really good. If the Lord bless them with health, they're going to win a ton of games. Having said that, we made a ton of mistakes. I don't think tonight was effort related. I thought our spirit was really good. I thought our effort and the communication of our older guys and our team, they were active with their voices. They wanted to play well. They were locked in. I thought our effort was good. I did think we got a little bit tired. We'll take a look at it. I got a decision to make there. Do I put guys in for guys that are maybe a little bit fatigued, that have been out of rhythm and out of the game for a very long period of time? And that's always a tough call. Obviously, knowing how it turned out now, maybe we should have. Hindsight's 20/20. But until a couple guys hit the wall here and there, I thought their effort was exceptional. I thought they had a good look in their eye. It was more execution than anything else. 20, you go against a team like that, and the kid has an individual performance like that, and they're that old and they're that good, and you turn it 22 times and you foul like we did. Just too many mistakes. Too many mistakes, especially in those two areas, taking care of the ball and fouling. And obviously some of those went hand in hand because some of the turnovers were fouls. So we got to clean that up. I thought we got off to a great start both halves. I thought foul trouble created some disruption, and I'm certainly not saying they weren't fouls. We've talked about some of those things for some time now. We've got to clean some of those things up. I thought those things haunted us a little bit today. But all in all, I'm glad we played them. It gives us a chance to learn. We needed that type of challenge after the first 4 games, and my hat's off to the point guard. He was dynamite. I mean, he really was. And then on top of that, then everything's got to go wrong for us and right for them. They part of that 10-point run. They bank in a 3 at the end of the shot clock. They scoop one in with the left hand with 1 second left on the shot clock, and then Hill loses his shoe. And we're going to have to work on now, when you lose your shoe, don't pick up your shoe, leave your shoe behind and get matched up, because we don't get matched up. We're playing 5-on-4s. It's being scrambled around. And as we all know, the 3 the kid made in the quarter wasn't even guarded, because we're worried about trying to put the shoe on and all that. And I mean, it just happened that way at the end where, we just, it couldn't have went any worse for us on that 10-point run. If you think about how they scored 8 of those 10, it's crazy. But give their kids credit. They're older. They made plays. They kept fighting. I told them they would. They weren't going to back down when we had 3 or 4 possession leads there 2 or 3 times. And that's a good basketball team. But we got to clean up our mistakes. We had a chance to close and didn't. Questions?
John Malcolm didn't score after the first half. Just what did you see?
I think he played great. And obviously I got a lot of respect for Malcolm, and just a terrific kid and a terrific player. But, went 0 for 10 on 2, 7 turns. I just didn't think he played real well. He'll play better. He'll play better. He just didn't play real well.
It's right behind you there, fella. Evaluate Black's performance.
I thought he did a good job. He'd been out, obviously, since last December. And, there's always a change as soon as you add one guy, and rotations, and it changes the dynamic of the game. And, it just kind of is what it is, and I made up my mind we were going to play him, and, you know, for the long haul. And, but all in all, I thought his minutes were productive. He shot the ball efficiently, thought he was active on the glass. He had a couple fouls that we got to clean up. You know, obviously he'd like to have those 2 free throws back in the overtime, but all in all, I thought it was a good start for him, and I think we'll see even better things out of him moving forward.
John, what is it about guarding that kid specifically that's so difficult?
Yeah, I mean, he's shifty, he's quick, he's fast, he has the ball on a string, he's on skates. I mean, you know, obviously he had, I think, 5 or 6 games last year, top of 30 plus. He's a 1,500-point college scorer coming into the game. He's the unanimous preseason player of the year. I mean, he's good. He's really good. And we knew that coming in. Again, our guys respected the heck out of him. We played really hard. We knew that was, you know, to beat them is going to be, if we were fortunate enough to do that, it was a heck of a win. And just unfortunately, we weren't able to do it. It turned out to be, you know, they ended up winning the game. But again, for me, I'm going to worry about what we can control. You know, obviously, Hill had a great look at the end of regulation. I'm not worried about that. We'll take that all the time. We got to the free throw line, we didn't make them. I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about the turnovers and the fouls, the ones we can control, the ones we can clean up tough so that we don't have wasted possessions.
Before they made their run there in the second half, Al Johnson without point for 4 minutes. I guess what was working well then defensively, and where did it?
I thought he wore Tate out. Tate was our best matchup on him, and he was working his tail off to stay with him and hang with him, and then we tried to get Tate a little bit of a blow there, and I think in the overtime or towards the end of regulation, but, you know, I thought we did a pretty good job of knowing where he was at, Scott, and obviously he was terrific in pick and roll situations, and we gave him different coverages. We were switching and trapping and hedging and icing. He was terrific. Give him credit. He was terrific.
John, I know every season's different, every game's different, but it seems like your team, just in closing minutes of some big games, hasn't been able to close. Is there anything that's similar?
I think it's too early to say that, Jeremy, with this team, because as soon as you add 1 or 2 guys, like, the team changes. This is not the same team I've coached even the first 4 years, you know. So we don't know that yet, you know. We could have done better today, I know that. You know, we're going to work our butts off to make sure it's not a pattern. You know, like, but today's one game, and, you know, it didn't go our way today. And part of it was we added insult to injury by making some of those mistakes, and part of it I'm going to give them credit. I mean, they banked in a 3. You know, our guy loses his shoe, they make a 3 in the corner. That was the kid's first 3 of the game, second 3 all year. And the scoop shot with 1 second on the shot clock, that was a heck of a play by that kid. Unbelievable finish for a guy that size, because we contested it really well, and he went under our arm and shot it with the weak hand. Just an unbelievable finish. So give him credit, you know. And we had a shot at the end of regulation, we didn't make it. We had free throws in overtime, some of them we didn't make. You know, we got to, you know, try to finish a little bit better. But I'm more worried again about the turnovers and the fouls, because those are the things that I thought added insult to injury. Give them credit for playing well. I thought we played really hard. In stretches, I thought we played well. To get that 10-point lead against them with 3 minutes to go, I thought we had played pretty well. And then obviously those 3 minutes in the overtime didn't go our way.
Coach, the turnovers has been an issue in several games dating back to the exhibitions.
Sure.
How do you, I mean, so we've been 6 games in, 7 games in now, counting the exhibitions, how do you kind of get that turned around here? Or in West Virginia, who does really well with creating
Yeah,
turnovers.
no question, that's a concern. We've got to handle the ball better. We've got to continue to look at, I think right now our biggest thing tonight was fouls. Illegal screens, post-up fouls. You know, we probably had, I'm going to say, 5 or 6 of those. You know, that's like a third of them almost. We got to clean those up. You're going to get a couple, but we had too many of those. You know, we had a high-low pass I thought we could have caught. You know, obviously Tate would like to have the 1 pass back on the pick and roll. That's very uncharacteristic of him. But, you know, we'll take a look at it and see what we need to clean up. But yeah, I am concerned about that. I've said that. Concerned about our defense. I'm concerned about taking care of the ball.
John, Mav and Mike, just what are you seeing out of them? Are they struggling with the matchups, or what do you think it is?
Tonight, obviously, with Cooks, we decided to play certain guys a little bit more. Wasn't anything those guys, you know, necessarily weren't doing. They were locked in. They were ready to go. And we're going to provide, whatever that we needed from them. Obviously, they trapped the post tonight, and I thought in the first half, we got some good threes out of it, where the ball came out of the post and we got it to the other side. I didn't think our ball movement against the post trap was as good in the second half. And, we've got enough shooters that we should be able to exploit that. Finke made one out of the post trap there in the overtime at the top. Hill made one in the first half, And I think we were C in that area, probably a little bit better in the first half than we were in the second half. But they made the decision that when the ball went in, Jeremy, they were trapping. They were just going to make us throw it back out. And we've got enough of a balanced team that we should be able to take advantage of that.
Derek, back here. Jeff?
Coach, speaking of Mike and Matt, would you say that your rebounding effort out of some of your big guys is a little disappointing tonight?
I think overall, Derek, not just this game, but I've been on those guys to rebound better per minute played. They're aware of that, and I think they can provide more. I don't know if it's just tonight. We need them to do more on the glass. And it's really not just them. Our wings that have that responsibility need to do a better job as well, especially on the offensive glass. I think we can clearly be better there. We've got to be better on the backboard.
Any final questions for Coach?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.